I quit my stable job to support her dream of starting a business. She betrayed me with a coworker who couldn't even keep his own job. Before watching the video, please tell us in the comments, which country are you watching from? My name is Eric Daniels, and I'm 36 years old. I believed in second chances, even when everyone told me I shouldn't. But forgiveness, I learned, can sometimes be the sharpest blade you hand to a liar. When I took Chloe back, everyone said I was a fool. My friends warned me, my sister called me crazy, but my heart refused to listen. I wanted to believe that love could overcome betrayal. I told myself people change, and maybe, just maybe, she had learned what loyalty meant. It had been 6 months since the first time she cheated. I found the texts, the late-night calls, the fake girls' trips. I walked away then, but she came back weeks later, crying, begging, promising she'd do anything to fix it. I made her swear it was over. She did. I wanted to believe her. When she got her new job at a tech company, I saw it as a new beginning. She was excited, ambitious, full of plans. I helped her buy clothes for her first day, wrote her a note that said, "I still believe in you." I told myself this was the final chance, our last shot at rebuilding what she'd destroyed. For a while, things felt good. She came home smiling again. We laughed, cooked dinner together, and even started talking about buying a house someday. I felt proud for holding on, proud for giving love another chance. But deep down, something inside me stayed cautious, a small voice whispering that I'd seen this movie before. The late nights started again, first once a week, then twice. Work deadlines, she said. Team projects, she explained. Her phone was always face down now, her laughter softer, her hugs shorter. The warmth that once lived in her eyes was slowly fading again, replaced by the same coldness I swore I'd never tolerate. Still, I kept quiet. I told myself not to jump to conclusions. She had promised she'd changed. She had looked me in the eyes and said she loved me, and I wanted that to be true more than anything. But love built on lies always cracks in silence before it collapses in noise, and I didn't know it yet. But this time, her downfall wouldn't come from me. It would come from the people she thought she could fool, the very coworkers she bragged about every night. Because truth, no matter how deep it's buried, always finds its way to the surface. And when it did, it wouldn't just destroy her lies. It would end everything she'd tried to rebuild. For the first few weeks, everything looked fine. Chloe's new job gave her confidence again, and I was genuinely happy to see her smile. She'd come home talking about her projects, her teammates, and the office environment. I listened, thinking maybe this really was our clean slate. I wanted to believe we'd finally escaped the past, but slowly, the little details began to shift. The kind of things that only someone who's already been betrayed can recognize. She started wearing more perfume to work, checking her reflection twice before leaving. She laughed harder at her phone, hid her screen faster, and suddenly cared too much about company culture events. I'd seen this pattern before, and it felt like déjà vu wrapped in false promises. I remember one evening clearly. She walked through the door later than usual, her smile wide but her tone defensive. "We had to finish a campaign," she said quickly. I nodded, pretending not to notice her messy hair and the faint smell of men's cologne clinging to her jacket. She saw the doubt in my eyes and added, "You said you trusted me again, remember?" I did, and that sentence silenced me for the moment. I began paying attention, quietly. Her stories didn't match up anymore. She'd claimed to be at meetings that her calendar didn't show. Her team dinners became more frequent, her phone battery always dying conveniently when she was out. I didn't confront her right away because anger wasn't useful. Experience had taught me that truth doesn't need chasing. It eventually walks right into your hands. I still tried to be supportive. I brought her coffee in the mornings, left good luck notes in her purse, and asked about her day. But her responses grew shorter, her patience thinner. "You're too much sometimes, Eric," she snapped one night. "Can I just live my life without you checking in?" That line hit harder than she knew. I wasn't checking in, I was holding on. At work, I started eating lunch alone, thinking about what I was doing wrong. I'd given her everything, my time, my trust, my forgiveness. But now, I realized something painful. Love can't fix someone who doesn't want to change. You can build them a bridge out of mistakes, but they'll still find a way to jump off. Then one Friday, she mentioned a new coworker, Ryan. "He's just hilarious," she said, grinning. "Everyone loves him." The way her eyes lit up when she said his name made my stomach twist. I'd seen that look before, the one she used to give me. And in that instant, I knew the peace I'd built was cracking again. The betrayal hadn't ended. It had just changed its address. And this time, I wasn't going to stop it. I was going to let her walk right into her own trap. The first time I met Ryan, he shook my hand with too much confidence. He was younger than me, maybe late 20s, with a smile that never reached his eyes. Chloe introduced us at a company barbecue, saying, "This is the guy who makes work bearable." I forced a polite grin, but inside my stomach turned. He called her Chloe, like they were old friends. They shared inside jokes I didn't understand, laughing in that way people do when they've spent too much time together. I noticed how she stood closer to him than necessary, how her voice softened when she spoke to him. It was the same tone she once used with me, before everything went wrong. Throughout the afternoon, I watched quietly. Ryan talked to me about the company, pretending to be respectful, but his eyes kept flicking toward her. I could see the arrogance in the way he moved, like he thought he was winning something. Chloe didn't even try to hide it anymore. Every time she laughed, she'd glance at me, testing how much I'd tolerate. On the drive home, she was unusually chatty. "Ryan's such a great guy," she said, scrolling through her phone. "He's so good at what he does." I nodded, gripping the steering wheel tighter. "Yeah, seems like it," I replied flatly. She didn't notice the tension. Or maybe she did, and enjoyed it. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying their body language in my head, the small touches, the lingering looks. I didn't need to check her phone to know where it was headed. I'd seen this play before, only the actors had changed. But this time, I wasn't going to be the fool begging for answers. I was going to let her script collapse on its own. Over the next few weeks, things escalated. She started mentioning him more often. "Ryan said this. Ryan did that. Ryan's hilarious." His name was everywhere, woven into every conversation. I stayed quiet, patient, letting her think I was blind, because the thing about liars is that they grow bolder when they think they're safe. Then one night, she left her phone on the counter while showering. A message popped up, his name flashing across the screen. The preview read, "Can't stop thinking about today." I didn't open it. I didn't need to. My silence was the loudest move I could make. When she came out, she smiled, kissed me goodnight, and went to bed. I watched her sleep, wondering how someone could look so innocent while carrying so much deceit. That was the night I decided to stop saving her. The woman lying beside me wasn't the one I married. She was a stranger wearing my wife's face, but soon she wouldn't be able to hide behind that face anymore. Not when her own coworkers started tearing down her lies for me. What would you do if someone you loved betrayed you like this? Comment below. It started with a single message, short, simple, and devastating. "Hey, Eric, you don't know me, but you deserve to know the truth." The sender's name was Tara. She worked in the same department as Chloe, and apparently, she'd seen more than she could stomach. My hands trembled as I read her words. "I'm sorry to tell you this," she wrote, "but Chloe isn't who you think she is. Everyone at the office knows about her and Ryan." For a moment, I couldn't breathe. I sat there in silence, my heart pounding in my ears. I'd known deep down for weeks, but reading it from someone else made it real. Still, I needed proof, not rumors, not guesses. And then Tara sent the attachments, screenshots, dozens of them, group chat messages between coworkers, photos from after-hours parties, jokes made at my expense. Chloe had been seeing Ryan outside work for weeks, dinner dates, late-night drinks, and one weekend conference that was nothing but a lie. The worst part wasn't just the cheating. It was how her coworkers joked about it, how they laughed about me not knowing. I wasn't just betrayed, I was humiliated. One photo stuck in my mind. It was Chloe, smiling at a bar, her hand resting on Ryan's arm. The caption under it from one of her coworkers said, "Poor Eric, still thinks she's at a work meeting." I wanted to smash the phone. Instead, I sat still, calm, too calm. When I replied to Tara, I thanked her. She said, "She's been acting like she's untouchable. People are getting tired of it. You seem like a good guy. You don't deserve this." That message changed everything. I realized that, for once, I wasn't alone. Her lies weren't just mine to bear anymore. The people she thought were her friends were ready to expose her. That night, I didn't confront Chloe. She came home smiling, talking about a long meeting. I smiled back, offered her dinner, and listened as she lied to my face. Every word she said was another nail in her own coffin. Later, she went to bed early. I stayed awake, scrolling through the evidence again and again. Every photo, every message, each one chipped away at the little love I had left. But beneath the heartbreak was something new. Focus. I wasn't going to yell or cry. That's what she expected. I was going to wait, plan, and let her truth destroy her. Because the best revenge isn't fueled by anger. It's powered by patience. And I had all the time in the world. After Tara's message, I stopped doubting. I had all the proof I needed. Every photo, every text, every word of mockery. But revenge isn't about acting fast, it's about acting smart. Chloe had built her lies on confidence, and I was going to let that confidence destroy her. The next morning, I made her breakfast. Pancakes, her favorite. She smiled, surprised. "What's the occasion?" she asked playfully. "Just wanted to do something nice," I said, pretending everything was fine. She kissed me before leaving, not realizing she'd kissed the calm before her storm. Over the next few days, I stayed patient. I played my part perfectly. I complimented her new outfits, asked about her work events, and kept my tone gentle. But behind that calm, I was preparing. I spoke with Tara again, confirming every detail. She told me the company was hosting a small Friday lunch for the team. Everyone would be there, including Ryan. I smiled when she told me. That was the moment I decided how it would all end. That Thursday night, Chloe came home excited. "Tomorrow's the team lunch," she said. "It's kind of important, so I'll be out most of the day." I nodded. "Sounds great. Maybe I'll drop by to surprise you." She froze, just for a second. "Oh, maybe not. It's kind of for employees only," she stammered. "You'd be bored?" I smiled faintly. "Don't worry, I'll stay out of your way." Her panic confirmed everything Tara had told me. She was terrified I'd show up, because she knew what I might find. That fear was my final piece of confirmation. Friday came, and I waited. Around noon, I drove near her office. The restaurant was only a block away, glass walls shining in the afternoon sun. From outside, I saw them, her and Ryan, sitting close, laughing. She looked happy, too happy. I parked, took a deep breath, and pulled out my phone. I texted Tara, who was already inside. Now, a few minutes later, the tension began to spread through the room. I watched from the window as Tara stood up, phone in hand, showing someone a message. Then another person saw it, and another. Chloe's laughter faded. Her co-workers' faces turned from amusement to shock. I knew exactly what they were seeing. The same screenshots she thought she'd deleted forever. I didn't need to walk in. The truth was already speaking for me. As I watched her expression shift from confidence to horror, I realized something. This wasn't just revenge. It was balance. She had taken my trust and turned it into a joke. Now, the joke was hers to live with. When she finally looked around the room, searching for who exposed her, I drove away. I didn't need to see more. The trap had been set, and she had walked straight into it. By the time Chloe's team lunch ended, her co-workers had already chosen sides, and none were hers. The screenshots I'd quietly passed through Tara had done their job. The office that once admired her charm now whispered behind her back. Every laugh she forced sounded hollow, because everyone knew. On Monday morning, she left for work early, nervous, but pretending confidence. I watched from the doorway as she adjusted her blazer, unaware that the same people she bragged to were waiting to expose her. The truth was no longer mine to tell. It was theirs. That afternoon, my phone buzzed. It was Tara. "It's happening," she texted. I didn't reply. I just imagined it. Chloe walking into the office, smiling as if nothing had changed, unaware of the silence that would greet her. According to Tara, it started during the morning meeting. Her manager mentioned team integrity, and the room went still. Then someone muttered, "Maybe Chloe can explain what integrity looks like after hours." The laughter that followed wasn't friendly. She froze, realizing it wasn't a joke. It was judgment. By lunch, her co-workers' whispers had turned to confrontation. One woman finally stood up and said, "We all saw the pictures, Chloe. Stop pretending." Chloe tried to deny it, her voice shaking, but the screenshots told a story that needed no narration. Every lie she had told, every alibi she had made, was now public property. Ryan didn't defend her. He sat quietly, face red, embarrassed by the chaos he helped create. When management found out, both were called in for questioning. Office gossip spread faster than truth itself. By the time she left the building, her reputation was gone. That evening, she came home broken. Her mascara was smeared, her voice shaking. "They humiliated me," she whispered. "They turned on me." I looked at her calmly, pouring myself a glass of water. "You taught them how?" I said softly. She blinked, confused. "What do you mean?" I turned to her and added, "You lied to everyone, Chloe, not just me. You built your life on pretending, and eventually, pretending stops working." She sank to the floor, sobbing into her hands. I didn't comfort her. I'd done that before, after her first betrayal, and all it earned me was another round of lies. This time, I let her feel the weight of her own actions. When she finally looked up, she whispered, "Did you do this?" I met her eyes and said, "No, Chloe, you did." She didn't reply. There was nothing left to say. The truth had burned through every lie she told. And this time, the fire came from her own office. "If you were in my place, would you forgive or walk away?" Tell me in comments. The night after her office humiliation, the house felt heavier than ever. Chloe didn't eat, didn't speak, didn't even look at me. She sat on the couch, staring blankly at the floor. I could see the defeat in her eyes. The arrogance that once hid her guilt was gone. I didn't feel pity, just quiet finality. Around midnight, she finally broke the silence. "Eric," she whispered, her voice trembling, "please, I just want to talk." I looked up slowly, letting her speak. "I messed up," I lied. "But it wasn't serious," she said, tears falling down her face. "It didn't mean anything." I stood there, calm and expressionless. "Didn't mean anything," I repeated softly. "Then why did you lie about it for months? Why did you laugh with your coworkers behind my back?" She covered her face, sobbing. "I don't know. I was stupid. I wanted attention." That sentence hit harder than any betrayal. All this pain, all this destruction, just because she craved attention from someone weaker. "You wanted attention," I said slowly, "and now you have it. The whole office knows who you really are." She flinched at my words, shaking her head like she could undo them. She reached out for my hand, but I stepped back. "You didn't just cheat, Chloe. You betrayed my forgiveness." My voice stayed calm, but it carried the weight of everything she'd taken from me. My trust, my pride, my peace. "I gave you another chance, even when you didn't deserve it, and you turned it into a joke." "I didn't mean to hurt you," she cried. "You didn't mean to get caught," I corrected. "That's the difference." For a moment, the only sound in the room was her breathing, shallow, uneven. Then I took a deep breath and said, "You can stay here tonight, but in the morning, I want you gone." She looked up at me, eyes wide. "Please, Eric, don't do this. We can fix it. I'll quit my job. I'll block him. I'll do anything." I shook my head slowly. "You can't fix something that's already burned down." The next morning, I woke up early, packed her things into boxes, and left them by the door. She came out of the bedroom in silence, still wearing the same clothes from the night before. I didn't yell. I didn't argue. I simply opened the door and said, "Goodbye, Chloe." She stood there for a few seconds, trembling before whispering, "You'll regret this." But as the door closed behind her, I realized something powerful. Regret was her burden, not mine. Because sometimes, the harshest punishment isn't rage or revenge. It's peace, the kind that reminds them they can't break you twice. Weeks passed after Chloe left, and my life finally felt quiet again. The house that once echoed with arguments now held only peace. It was strange at first, waking up alone, eating breakfast in silence, hearing no footsteps rushing out the door. But that silence slowly became my healing. It wasn't empty anymore. It was honest. I didn't check her social media, didn't ask anyone about her. I'd already seen everything I needed to. Tara later told me Chloe was let go from the company. Word of her affair spread far beyond the office. Her reputation was gone, her confidence shattered. I didn't celebrate it, but I didn't feel sorry either. Some lessons only come when everything else is taken away. For me, life became simple again. I focused on work, started exercising, even picked up painting, something I hadn't done since college. Every stroke of color felt like reclaiming a piece of myself. I didn't need revenge anymore. I'd already watched her world collapse under the weight of her own lies. One afternoon, as I walked through the park, I saw her again. She was sitting alone on a bench, hair unkempt, eyes hollow. When she noticed me, her face lit up for a moment, like she thought there might still be hope. But I just nodded politely and kept walking. Some people deserve closure, others deserve distance. That night, I looked at our old wedding photo one last time. I remembered the man I was back then, hopeful, forgiving, maybe a little naive, but I wasn't him anymore. Pain had carved strength into me. Forgiveness had taught me that mercy doesn't mean weakness. It means choosing peace over poison. A few days later, she texted, "I miss you. I'll never find someone like you again." I stared at the screen for a long time before replying, "That's the point." Then I blocked her number. It felt final, not angry, not dramatic, just right. In the months that followed, I rebuilt my life from the ground up. I met new people, laughed again, and learned how to trust slowly. Not others at first, but myself. Sometimes, late at night, I think about how one decision can reveal who a person truly is. I gave her one last chance, and she chose to destroy it. But in the end, her coworkers didn't ruin her life. Her lies did. And as for me, I finally understood something powerful. The best revenge isn't destruction. It's peace. The kind you earn when you stop fighting for someone who was never fighting for you. This is how my wife betrayed me. Should I forgive or move on? Tell me in comments. If this story gave you strength, like the video, share it with someone who needs courage, and subscribe for more real stories of truth and redemption.